The quiet ward. The island didn't appear on most maps. Blackwater Psychiatric Institute rose from jagged cliffs off the coast of Maine, wrapped in salt fog and steel fencing. The sea wasn't decoration, it was containment. Patients who left didn't swim back. The ferry captain refused night crossings during storms. On October 14th, the storm arrived early. At 8:52 p.m., lightning struck somewhere beyond the eastern ridge. At 9:17, the last radio transmission failed. At 9:32, Dr. Malcolm Reed died. Or at least, that's when they heard the gunshot. The recording. They found him behind his desk, slumped, head angled slightly left, as if listening. A single gunshot wound to the temple. Close range. Powder burn confirmed. But there was no gun. On the desk, a small cassette recorder, still spinning. Security Chief Ethan Cole pressed stop. Rewound. Press play. Reed's voice emerged through static. Calm. Controlled. If you're hearing this, it means one of them finally decided. I underestimated how far it would go. That was my mistake. A pause. A faint scraping sound. And then a whisper. So soft they didn't notice it the first time. Tell them. Gunshot. Tape hissing. Silence. 2 of the 6 trapped on the island that night were Dr. Adrian Keller, recently appointed forensic psychiatrist; Ethan Cole, head of security; Dr. Sylvia Moreno, neurologist; Nurse Hannah Pierce, night supervisor; Daniel Harper, senior orderly; Lila Monroe, patient 47. No one else had access to the administrative wing. The office door had been locked from the inside. No broken windows. No hidden passageways. And no weapon. 3. Adrian Keller. Adrian was the newest arrival. 42. Controlled posture. Gentle tone. The kind of man juries trusted. He had been hired to evaluate violent offenders and assist Reed with a controversial long-term rehabilitation project. He claimed that at the time of the gunshot, he was speaking with Lila Monroe. She had said something strange just minutes before. "It's about to be very loud," she told him. Security footage confirmed Adrian entering Lila's room at 9:08, but it did not show him leaving, because the camera outside her room flickered off at 9:27 p.m. The gunshot was heard 5 minutes later. Adrian said his watch had stopped at 9:20. Later inspection showed the watch battery was perfectly functional. For Ethan Cole, Ethan had keys to every door. Ex-Marine, precision-driven, uncomfortable with ambiguity. He was the first to break into Reed's office. But though it splintered strangely, outward, not inward, almost as if the door had already been unlatched. Ethan insisted he was in the generator room when the lights flickered, yet the generator showed no disruption, and no one saw him there. Reed had recently reviewed Ethan's sealed file from military service. The next morning, Reed had scheduled a private discussion with him. That meeting never happened. 5. Sylvia Moreno. Dr. Sylvia Moreno's research funding had just been suspended. Reed cited ethical instability. Sylvia's work focused on memory reconstruction therapy, altering traumatic recall through neurological stimulation. Some staff believed she was experimenting beyond approved protocols. Her lab access log showed door opened at 9:29 p.m., closed at 9:35 p.m. The gunshot occurred at approximately 9:32. When questioned, Sylvia said she stepped out for air. There were no exterior cameras. Her fingerprints were found on Reed's tape recorder. She claimed she'd used it days earlier during research interviews. But the recorder had been wiped clean, except for Reed's final message. 6. Nurse Hannah Pierce. Hannah had worked at Blackwater for 12 years. She knew which patients screamed at night and which stared silently at walls. She was distributing evening medication during the time of death. Yet Daniel Harper claimed he saw her standing near Reed's office minutes before the shot. She denied it. When asked why Reed might have been afraid, Hannah hesitated. He wasn't afraid, she said, then corrected herself. He was unsettled. Security later found a half-written resignation letter in Reed's desk, addressed to the board. The reason line was incomplete. "I can no longer participate in." The sentence stopped. 7. Daniel Harper. Orderlies are invisible. Daniel preferred it that way. He moved through corridors unnoticed, hearing fragments of conversation. He had access to patient files, including Lila's. That night, one page from Lila Monroe's file went missing, her admission report. When pressed, Daniel claimed he'd never touched it. Yet ash from burned documents was found in the furnace room. Among the fragments, a patient intake form, the name partially visible. A. Keller, different date of birth, different signature. Admitted 10 years earlier. Attending psychiatrist Malcolm Reed. 8. Lila Monroe. Patient 47 had been institutionalized for 5 years. Official diagnosis: delusional paranoia with dissociative tendencies. She claimed Blackwater wasn't a hospital. It's rehearsal, she told Adrian during their first session. For what? For when you remember. On the night of the storm, she was eerily calm. You won't find the gun, she said after the body was discovered. Ethan asked why. Because there wasn't one. Autopsy contradicted her. Powder burn confirmed close-range discharge. But there was no bullet inside Reed's skull. No exit wound. No projectile recovered in the room. Metal detectors found nothing. 9. The second voice. Audio specialists enhanced the recording. Beneath Reed's final words, the whisper repeated, "Tell them everything." Voice comparison returned inconclusive. It did not match Reed. It did not match Ethan. It did not match Sylvia. It did not match Hannah. It did not match Daniel. Adrian refused to submit a voice sample. He said it was unnecessary. 10. The hidden contract. Inside Reed's safe was a draft contract. Interim Director, Dr. Adrian Keller. Effective October 15th. Signed but not yet submitted. When confronted, Adrian looked surprised. I didn't know he'd finalized it. But his signature appeared at the bottom, dated 3 days earlier. 11. Midnight confrontations. By midnight, accusations fractured the group. Sylvia accused Ethan of staging the locked room. Ethan accused Daniel of destroying files. Hannah accused Sylvia of manipulating neurological data. Adrian accused Lila of planting psychological seeds in everyone's minds. Lila watched them unravel. You're all missing the point, she said. What point? Ethan demanded. She smiled faintly. He wasn't afraid of being killed. She leaned forward. He was afraid of being exposed. 12. The basement. At 2:11 a.m., Daniel discovered something in the basement archive, a locked cabinet. Inside were restricted case files. Among them, Project Quiet Mind. Lead investigator, Malcolm Reed. Co-lead, Adrian Keller. Start date, 10 years earlier. Project description, long-term immersive identity reconstruction in high-risk dissociative subjects. One note stood out. Subject displays increasing resistance to constructed narrative. The subject name was blacked out. 13 dawn. When the storm cleared, police arrived. They found no gun, no bullet, no clear timeline, conflicting testimonies, burned files, and a locked room death. Official ruling: suicide, weapon presumed lost through unknown structural breach. Case closed. 14. Aftermath. Blackwater reopened 2 weeks later. Interim Director, Dr. Adrian Keller. Sylvia resigned. Ethan requested transfer. Hannah stayed. Daniel was dismissed quietly. Lila Monroe was scheduled for relocation. Before she left, she slipped a folded paper into Adrian's coat pocket. It read, "You almost remembered." 15. What doesn't fit? Reed said one of them decided. Decided what? To kill him? To expose him? To end an experiment? Adrian had motive and a contract. Ethan controlled access. Sylvia manipulated memory science. Hannah lied about her location. Daniel destroyed files. Lila predicted the event. There was no bullet, no weapon, and a missing admission file tying Adrian to the Institute a decade earlier. So ask yourself, was Reed murdered? Did someone stage his death? Was the gun imaginary? Was the bullet ever real? Or was this the final phase of Project Quiet Mind? And if so, who was the patient? Because in places like Blackwater, reality isn't what happened. It's what everyone agrees happened. And sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the one asking the questions.